Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tseren Franklin, and I am 70 years old. You're probably thinking, this old man must know some kind of secret. That's right. I know a forgotten recipe that saved my heart and blood vessels. It extended my life, not by a few years, but by decades. But I will only tell it to the most patient ones. At the end of our conversation, my home is a small village high up in the Tibetan mountains. Here the air is so fresh that it feels like nature is breathing with you. When I was little, we hardly ever got sick, even though the conditions were harsh. And that was when we ate very simply barley, roots, herbs, and yak milk. It was in that childhood that I first heard my grandfather talk about the special power of garlic. But not the kind everyone is used to, but the part that is usually thrown away, garlic peels. Yes, that very thin, light layer. Left on your hands after peeling the cloves. When I grew up, my family moved closer to the city, and life became different. Illness appeared, feeling unwell. Especially the heart and blood vessels were affected. I saw people around me grow old. I saw friends my age complain about aches, dizziness and weakness. A lack of doctors, and medicines were not affordable for everyone. One day, when I was already an adult, I remembered my grandfather's advice. I thought, my grandfather lived to nearly 100 and was always healthy and energetic. Maybe I should try his forgotten recipe. And so garlic peels came back into my life. I began to research everything I could find about its incredible effects, my friend. You can't even imagine how many benefits are hidden in that fragile peel. It turns out garlic peels contain unique antioxidants and sulfur-containing compounds that help strengthen vessel walls, improve circulation, and protect the heart. I even found studies confirming that it is the garlic peel itself, not just the cloves, that significantly improves blood vessel condition and helps prevent cardiovascular diseases. I was very surprised when I first read in a study that garlic peel itself has an amount of antioxidants dozens of times higher than garlic itself. I was stunned, because it's something everyone throws away, yet it is a real treasure for health. And now a small personal story. I have a neighbor. Her name is Kiani. She is a few years younger than me, but she looks much older. She often had headaches. Tormented by dizziness, her blood pressure often rose. The doctor prescribed her medicine, but it didn't help much, and her body felt uncomfortable taking it. One morning she came to my house for tea and complained again about poor health. I looked at her and decided I had to try sharing my secret. I gave her a jar of dried garlic peels and showed Kien how to brew a decoction. At first she laughed. "Tseren, come on, what can garlic peels change?" But I was firm. "Try it, and you'll see for yourself." A month later, I saw her at the temple. She looked bright and smiling, climbing the stairs, and from afar she waved at me. "Tseren, can you imagine? This morning I woke up, and for the first time in many years, I didn't feel dizzy. My blood pressure is stable, and my heart doesn't bother me anymore either. You're a real wizard." But the wizard here is certainly not me, but nature. They're garlic peels. The thing we're used to calling trash is actually more precious than many medicines. If you like this approach, WRIT, the word Tibet in the comments, so I know how many of us are ready to follow health traditions proven over centuries. And I want each of you to understand that the secret of health is not always in expensive drugs or complex procedures. Sometimes it lies right beneath our feet. the simplest and most accessible methods that nature gives us can sometimes be stronger than any pill. Do you want to know the exact recipe? My healing decoction and garlic peel tincture. And do you want to understand why this remedy became the most important thing in my life? Then stay with me. I will definitely tell you all the details and explain how to make the tincture correctly so you can feel that effect. The effect that amazed my neighbor and me. But first, if you are ready to try this simple method, but powerful, write in the comments starting tomorrow morning, because health is your choice. And sometimes a small action can change your whole life. And now let's continue, and you will learn many more incredible facts about garlic peels, as well as which scientific studies prove its healing effect. Ready to go further? Then listen very carefully, because the best part is ahead. You know, many people are surprised. Garlic peels. But isn't that just trash? Believe me, that's what people say who haven't tried its power. When I started using decoctions and tinctures made from garlic peels, I also had doubts. But after only a month, I felt changes I never even expected. My heart began to work more steadily. My blood pressure returned to normal. The tiredness and heavy legs disappeared. Then when I began to look for an explanation for those miraculous changes, I came across studies that truly shocked me. Scientists discovered, such as quercetin and bioflavonoids. These substances strengthen blood vessels, make them more elastic, and reduce the risk of blood clots. In one study, published in the journal Food Chemistry, I read that the concentration of antioxidants in garlic peels is dozens of times higher than in the garlic cloves. And can you imagine, the thing we always considered trash turned out to be the most precious natural medicine? That moved me deeply. Garlic peels don't just strengthen blood vessels. They also help the liver detox, improve heart function, and also reduce bad cholesterol in the blood. This is especially important for people my age, when the body can no longer easily handle strain and stress. Maybe you're thinking, why a tincture? Can't you just make the decoction? Of course you can. But the tincture has one special advantage, because an alcohol base extracts more effectively the beneficial compounds from the peel, and the body absorbs them faster and more fully. But the decoction cannot be ignored either. It is perfect for anyone who, for some reason, cannot use alcohol tinctures. Either way, here is another story that I can't help but tell. My friend Lama went through a very difficult time. She is 76 years old, and in recent years, she could hardly walk without a cane. She had constant leg pain, and her hands were cold even. In summer, the doctor said, poor circulation, and the medicine no longer worked. One evening I visited her and brought a small bottle of my tincture. Lama looked at it skeptically. Tseren, what if it doesn't help? I smiled and said, just try it. You have nothing to lose except your pain. A month passed, and I met her at the small local store. Lama was standing at the counter, very comfortably, without a cane, calmly choosing items. When she saw me, she almost cried with joy. Tseren, for the first time in so many years, I feel warmth in my fingers, and I stand firmly on my feet. And nothing strange happened. It was simply garlic peel in the tincture, the thing many people just throw into the trash. That's nature. Everything most useful is right in front of us. And now I want to tell you, if you like this story, And you also want to experience for yourself the incredible effects of garlic peels. WRIT, the word Tibet in the comments. Let's see. How many of us are ready to try this simple and easy to find method for the health of blood vessels and the heart? You will surely ask me, Tseren, but are there any contraindications? Of course there are. Any method, no matter how natural, requires a reasonable approach. For example, the tincture will not suit those who must not use alcohol. And for them, I always recommend the decoction. You should also be more careful with low blood pressure. Garlic peels stabilize blood pressure very well, but sometimes they can lower it slightly. If you still have doubts, start with a small dose. Listen to your body, but trust my experience. For most people, this method brings only benefits and relief. And the most amazing thing is how accessible this ingredient is. You don't need to go to faraway places. You don't need to look for expensive medicines. Garlic is in almost every home. And after cooking, there are often lots of peels left. Just don't throw them away. Use them wisely. I'm very happy to share something so simple, yet incredibly effective, because it carries the wisdom of generations, the power of nature, and confirmation from modern science. But the most important secret I will tell at the end. If you are ready to learn how to prepare and use the tincture correctly, so it works to its fullest, stay with me. And in the meantime, write in the comments tomorrow morning. Remember, your health is the result of your choices. And let this small step be the beginning of a bigger change for the better. Now we move to the most important part: how to make and correctly use the tincture and the decoction from garlic peels. Because as my life has shown, it's not only important to know what is good, but also how to use it correctly. First, the decoction. It is suitable for those who don't drink alcohol. It's very simple to make, but made with all my heart. My decoction recipe from me, Tseren Franklin. Take a handful of dried peels, about 1 full tablespoon for 1 cup of water. Pour boiling water into a thermos. Leave it overnight. In the morning, strain it and drink half a cup while still warm, on an empty stomach, 30 minutes before meals. The rest can be sipped throughout the day in small sips. You don't need to drink a liter. This is not water. It's a concentrate. The important thing is to make the decoction fresh every day. But if you can't, store it for a maximum of 1 day in the refrigerator. Now for the tincture. With this one you need to be more careful. It is stronger, but acts gently and deeply. An alcohol-based tincture. Take 2 to 3 handfuls of peels, about 30 to 40 g. Pour in 50 milliliters of good vodka or diluted alcohol to 40%. Infuse in a dark place for 10 days. Shake gently every day. Then strain and store in a dark bottle. Take 15 to 20 drops. Mix into 1 tablespoon of water, 2 to 3 times a day before meals. A course of 3 weeks. Then take a break for at least 1 week. Then you can repeat. In Tibet, we also say, if you drink garlic peel tincture 3 times in spring and autumn, then all winter your heart will be like a drum, beating clearly and never getting tired. And I can confirm that myself. Now I'll tell you another story, one that is deeply carved into my memory, about the importance of this recipe. I have a grandson named Tenzing. He works an office job in the city, and like many young people, he doesn't move much and eats carelessly. When he was 35, his blood pressure started fluctuating. The doctor said it was pre-hypertension. He needed to reduce stress, stabilize his diet, and take medicine. I suggested to him, try my way, not replacing the medicine, but as an addition. He was skeptical, but agreed. I gave him a bottle of tincture and explained how to take it. A month later, he called me. "Grandpa, this morning my head doesn't feel heavy anymore. My hands are warmer, and I don't even need coffee. I have enough energy, see?" I said, "Nature knows what it's doing." And strangely, he went for a checkup, and his blood pressure had stabilized. Without medication, just routine, movement, and tincture. To this day, he still uses it as a course in spring and autumn. And when he gets sick, he makes the decoction. And you know what? What surprised me the most is when I found a scientific work saying that in the peel there are substances that activate the metabolism of sulfur-containing amino acids. This affects cellular energy, improves brain function, regulates vascular tone. It was as if I was reading confirmation of what we knew since childhood in the village. So, if you are ready to try at least one of these recipes, write in the comments, starting from the bowl. Let that be a symbol of the beginning of self-care. And if you already eat garlic, or have ever made a tincture, write "already in my diet." Let's see how many of us don't want to age before our time. By the way, garlic peels aren't only for the heart. Their effects also help the liver cleanse, restore, especially useful for those who eat a lot of fatty food. Gallbladder issues, heaviness. After eating, the liver starts working more smoothly. The skin becomes brighter too. Acne and rashes decrease. And there is another important observation. After one course, sleep improves significantly and anxiety decreases. That's not magic. That's an effect on the central nervous system. Garlic peels sound strange, but they affect it too. Many people ask me, "Tseren, how do you feel after finishing the course?" And I always answer, lightness and the feeling, as if everything inside has been cleaned, as if windows opened, and a fresh stream of air passed through me. If you want to feel that too, keep listening. In the next part, one will finally reveal that secret that I promised from the beginning. It's not in the recipe, but in one small detail. Without it, both the tincture and the decoction will not give the effect that you've heard about. And now write in the comments, "My power is in my hands." This sentence sounds simple, but it contains the whole meaning. Health is your choice. And sometimes, one small step can become the beginning of a great change. We move to the most important part. Remember, it's not only what you drink, but when and how. This is my personal ritual that I learned after many years, and every time I break it, the effect becomes weaker. But when I follow it, everything runs like clockwork. The usage secret that people don't talk about. Always start during the waning moon. Yes, I'm not joking. Not because the energy is cleansed then, but because it's easier to keep discipline. The waning moon is a visual countdown marker. You see it getting smaller. And every day it reminds you that you're still on the course. It's like a calendar. But a sky calendar. My grandfather and I always said, as the moon fades, the illness leaves too. Take it according to the schedule. Don't mix it up. Every morning drink the decoction on an empty stomach. The tincture for 21 days. Exactly 15 drops. At 9 o'clock and 18 o'clock. Not later, not more, not less. The body is like a garden. It must be watered evenly and on time. Drink it warm. This is extremely important. Warm liquid immediately blends into the digestive system, doesn't irritate the stomach, helps the beneficial compounds absorb better. Don't eat heavy food. In the first 3 days, as I say, warming the soil. When garlic peels start the cleansing process, don't block it with fatty and sweet foods. On those days, I cook light lentil soup, a little barley, and drink more. Warm water with lemon, and most importantly, breathing. After drinking the tincture, I always take 3 deep breaths. Hold my breath, then exhale. Why? because it helps the body. Get into rhythm immediately. We breathe shallowly. We live shallowly too, but health needs depth. That's all, not pills, not 4 drips, but rhythm and attention to yourself. I told you about Lama, about tensing. But there is one more story, perhaps the most personal. When I was 80, a thought crossed my mind. Well, it's time to rest. I stopped making the decoction, broke my usual rhythm. And after only a few months, suddenly I became weaker. My blood pressure started jumping again. My fingers became cold. I was afraid, but I didn't panic. I knew what to do. I returned to garlic peels right from the waning moon phase. The tincture, the breathing, the decoction every morning. More than a month passed, and I was climbing the mountain again, carrying water, smiling every morning. Only because I know health is not a one-time thing. It is a habit, a daily choice. If you feel this is close to you, write in the comments, "Inside me." Let that be your symbol for moving forward, not backward, not toward illness, not toward pills, but toward simple things that truly work. Many people ask, can children use it? Can it be used with medicine? What if I have diabetes? I always answer, start small. With 1 cup of decoction, with 1 drop, with 1 morning breath. Because the road to health is not a marathon or a sprint. It is like a mountain trail. Step by step, calmly, respecting your body. And if you listened all the way to the end, I want to tell you, you've already taken 1 step. Now it's your turn. Don't throw away garlic peels. Don't throw away your health. And remember, every big thing starts from something small, from 1 handful of peels, from 1 sip, from the desire to live long and happily. If you're going to try it, write, starting tomorrow morning. Let that sentence become a small promise to yourself, to your heart, to your future.